So one thing about taking risks is a lot of times you're going to take L's. You're going to have failures. Not everything is going to go the way you want it to go. So I wanted to ask our guest here today, what specific risk have you taken recently that has helped you out, whether it was a failure or whether, you were successful?
Every day you live, you're taking a risk in some way. So pretty much like what I've come to realize, like the L's that everybody talk about taking, I've seen a lot of influence touch on every single time. They say those L's are nothing but lessons. And that's what I've come to actually realize, because you learn so much from your L's than you do from your successes. Because if you always succeed and you fail, you don't know how to react. But let's say you go through a certain situations and you don't succeed and you take a certain amount of L's. Now you know how to navigate that process. So pretty much along with that, I would say pretty much the podcast was a risk. We didn't know how big. We had an idea of how big it could get, but also in our heads we know there could be another alternative. So realizing that and still being yourself to really be like, okay, you know what, this is something I enjoy doing. I love talking to people. I love connecting with people. I'm willing to take this amount of risk to make sure, even if it don't work out, at least we tried. And so far, we've been seeing a huge success with it. Walking around campus, people telling us, hey, this is good. We are promoting positivity. And that's what I've come to realize, that risk has paid off.
Yeah, man. I kind of say the same thing. The podcast was kind of one of the biggest risks I think I probably took in my life besides going to college. That's a risk. No matter how good you was in high school, it's still a risk going to college. But, I mean, it was just something that I never fucking picture myself talking in front of a microphone and a camera. That wasn't me. If you told me that 5 years ago, I would have been like, hell no, what the fuck? No.
Right.
Never. But it's something that we took a risk on, and I think it's paying off, and it's continuing to pay off. I think the biggest thing is that we take risks damn near every week with the podcast, though, because we putting out an episode every week, so we taking a risk on, man, we might say something in this episode that people might take the wrong way, or people might not like this guest, so that might steer away, traffic and shit like that, because we are on campus, so people might not like certain people that we have on the show, so it's you taking a big risk every week that you put something out there. I think, but anybody with a business, I feel like every day you taking risks. So
right, and to also touch on that too is the fact that you don't many people don't see the behind the scenes, the financial risk.
Yeah, I forgot to say that.
That's by far pretty much one of the biggest things that me and Ricky had to endure. Me college students investing thousands of our hard-earned money into a business, and people that's what people don't realize. You might see us put out the final product, but the behind the scenes work, having to buy everything with our earned money, is pretty much people don't realize. They take that for granted. We had to put a lot of financial and time into this.
Yeah, I feel like that was. I mean, they say you young, you could take the biggest risk now.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate taking the risk when we was
2019. Yeah.
So about a year ago, 2 years ago, I appreciate taking the risk when we was young, but still, it was a risk. We could have, like he said, that's not hundreds, thousands that we didn't put in, and we could have put that. And we college students, we could have put that into clothes. We could have put that into a trip. We could have put that into drugs, alcohol, partying, anything like that. But we chose to put in some positive that we could see. Okay, this could bring us back 100 times what we didn't put in.
And that's what it's all about, is taking those risks, taking those L's, learning from what you're doing. And by us actually, me too, it was a big financial risk. This was thousands of dollars, and right. It doesn't have to pay off, but it's about taking that risk and doing it in a ways and believing in yourself and what you got going on. And that's really what has, motivated me, kept pushing me to, keep going through with this. All right. So I wanted to ask you guys, how does taking risk lead to your journey of success?
Um, I think that taking risks it is you take risks on things that you're passionate about. I think things that you like to do, and I think that, like we said, when you have a business, you continuing to take risks each and every day that you wake up and perform at your business. You taking a risk by doing those things. So I think that as long as you continually trying to move forward and progress, that's going to lead to your success. Because success is defined different ways by different people. It's different from your success is different from what my success is going to be. That's just how the world works. But I think that as long as you continuously progressing and you trying to move that bar and continually taking risk in your business, trying to do new things, I think that you're going to ultimately achieve success. It's like inevitable at that point.
Like
It's
also,
hold on before you go to, but like I like that you said that success does not have to, like, you don't have to be rewarded for taking a risk, because you don't have to be, like, you're not entitled to success just because you are taking a risk and you feel like you are taking the right steps. It might be somebody in your life you gotta let go before you could level up to the next position. So I think that you don't have to get rewarded just for taking risks. But yeah, you go ahead.
and to also go along what you said too, I feel like risk is part of an unprecedented moment in a person's like life. Like pretty much like you can't go through life your whole life without ever taking a risk. As in, every day you wake up to even go to work, you're taking a risk. I've seen like you're taking a risk for your job to pay you. You're taking a risk for you to rely on your job to make sure you're able to provide for your expenses and your future self. So pretty much also and the success that comes with the risk that you're taking, like he said, everybody has a different definition of it. So pretty much like what that's is this almost similar to how I define hard work. Just like I tell like myself sometimes like sometimes people might not be like, oh, you're not working hard, but to me I'm working to the best ability that I can. So I feel like everybody has their own ways of defining those like words, because like you said, your version of success can't be the same as mine, because we might have different experiences in our life that has led us to different conclusions.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. That's one thing that's very important for people to know is someone else's definition of success is not yours.